Okay, so everybody, thank you so much for joining. What we're going to do is there are two of us on the screen. We are doing this LinkedIn Live. Please excuse us if there are any issues, but we're going to get started. So we are with TADA, and the two speakers you have here on the call today are myself. My name is Harsh Kapula. I'm the president and co-founder of TADA, and Sid Guha, who's our Vice President of Product Management and Development. And wonderful to have all of you here for the call. And we have a great session for you. And so what I'm going to do, the way we have set this up, is I'm going to give you an introduction, if you will, to TADA and the capabilities and solutions that we bring to market to solve for some major challenges that supply chains are having globally, in light of all the constant changes, disruptions, and volatility that is taking place. And so I will do that for about 10, 12 minutes. And I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Sid Guha, who's got deep expertise and experience in supply chains, to show you how the TADA solutions are able to help our customers, major global complex customers, solve for these supply chain problems. So we think of TADA as the world's first system of action for supply chains. What supply chains need in the world that we operate in is not just that you understand what a problem is. It doesn't mean that you have a system of intelligence. It doesn't mean that you record all the transactions. But what every company is struggling with is that they need people at every node in the end-to-end supply chain to be able to act quickly and intelligently in a way that is executable so that they get results. So this is the first supply chain platform designed to help you instantly respond to disruptions and thereby supercharge your supply chain performance and unlock the performance that's locked in your supply chains. Now, the problem is, and everybody is feeling this, is that supply chain disruptions are accelerating and unpredictable. But traditional solutions, we all know, are very siloed and fragmented, and they're not able to handle these disruptions very effectively. By the time a company is able to respond to a disruption, sometimes it takes weeks. And the problem is that you're losing money every hour that you wait to be able to act. And so that resilience factor, the ability of your organization to be able to respond, not just your organization, but all the partners that you work with, is a superpower. And having it makes the difference between how much money is trapped in the supply chain and what your customers are feeling in terms of your service. Now, the problem has been that many of the tools that exist are very static. They're not actually modeling the behavior of your complete supply chain, of your business in real time. And that AI tools actually, in many cases, add complexity. And you've seen the studies that say that very few of them have delivered true ROI. It does give you productivity in isolated pockets, and that's important, but it's not nearly enough. Now, what would be a system of action? So the solution from TADA, and we bring together the magic of TADA, and it's really powered by a patented digital duplicate technology, like I said, that actually models your business in the way it actually behaves across your supply chain with your partners. So what TADA effectively does, it allows everybody in the supply chain to sense. So TADA has what we call live sync. It's actually quite a magical capability that allows you to sync new data across your network so that every person is working from the same single source of truth. No fragmentation, no silos, all the way across. The second thing that is important to understand for people, to actually deliver to people, is an understanding of what that means. What are the options available to them when a disruption hits and all of a sudden your supply chain is not delivering for your customers or costing too much or trapping too much cash in inventory? Are you able to understand the financial impact and the operational impact and what options are available to you that you can execute? But then you have to respond. Everybody in the vast complex supply chain that is yours, you need to be able to have something that is non-hallucinogenic. In other words, it doesn't give you false answers confidently, but to be able to orchestrate your teams internally and externally, automate with agents, and then collaborate across partners. What you absolutely need in the world that we live in the competitive set that you're in, is to be able to respond in hours instead of weeks. Because we all know that the cost of doing so and responding in weeks is the difference between whether you compete or not. And TADA actually solves for this problem because it delivers that system of action. Now, what we have come to market with is what we call fail-safe supply chain solutions. The magic of these solutions is that they actually deliver extremely fast implementation. You're able to launch this in weeks, streamlined with the setup and pre-configured options that allow you to deal with the 7 major supply chain problems that you're dealing with in supply chains. Anybody who's making things, anybody who is distributing things to customers at thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of points, it's important to understand that. It also needs to be a low-risk investment. So it gives you the ability to test before you scale. And you can do that with very minimal cost and commitment. But it allows you fundamentally, not just you, but all of your colleagues across the supply chain, all of your partners, to try these key features. Focused functionality that'll give you value and a very, very fast ROI. And then it's easy to expand and expand this across your supply chain so that you end up with a full enterprise solution at the speed and scale that your organization wants to go. If you want to go fast, we're there with you. If you want to stage it in a different way, that is also possible. But every capability that is added works with every other capability seamlessly so that the value that you get continues to go up pretty exponentially. Now, we have a number of solutions. The current fail-safe menu has these options available to you immediately. We all know that tariffs have disrupted the world. You have public announcements from companies like Caterpillar saying that the impact of tariffs on their business is going to be $1.5 billion. It is important for organizations to be able to understand and get visibility into what your tariff exposures are and to model true landed costs of all of the material that you need so that your factories can build around the globe. The capability allows and empowers your team to respond with speed and confidence amidst the shifting trade dynamics. We have a spend manager. Cost is always important. Tariffs is one element of cost, but there are many other costs, and important to understand what those costs are and overcoming the volatility and the changes that are taking place dynamically, and to be able to model it to uncover those things that the organization must do with your partners to drive that cost down. With demand patterns shifting rapidly, it is important to understand where you are stranding inventory and where you need inventory where you don't have it, and to be able to respond to it again in real time with solutions that work or options that deliver the best results for your business's strategy. Clean to build manager. It allows you to understand in production what would happen if materials supplied to the factories are not what you planned, so that you can identify products that are not clean to build and initiate solutions where you can find items that you can build so that you can use the valuable asset that is your complex manufacturing network. We also have a short sheet manager, gain visibility into production and build readiness by monitoring component availability in real time, and to be able to work with your suppliers so that you can mitigate those problems. And failing that, you understand what you have clean to build so that you can use a factory. And then an order board manager is to be able to have everybody work and understand what the live order status is, flag exceptions on items that may not be able to be filled, and allow you to understand options that are available across production, inventory, and shipments. So it's a very robust set of solutions to allow you to deal with the problems that every supply chain is facing. And we have some of the world's largest, most complex global supply chains, which are on TADA and delivering results, pretty spectacular results, and very, very quickly. Now, what we're going to do today is to demonstrate what we call the raw material inventory manager. It allows you to deal with and manage through the impact of demand volatility on inventory so that you can understand what your inventory health is and to optimize your inventory policies by SKU, by location, in order to serve the market where it's most needed and to reduce inventory where it's not. It gives you inventory recommendations to manage the disruptions to the business cycle and demand. And it allows you to do what-if scenarios so that you can model the impact of potential demand changes, lead time variations, and policy adjustments. Now, what our customers have seen is that it has resulted in 10 to 20% reduction in holding costs, a 2x to 4x improvement in inventory turns, pretty dramatic, and a 10 to 30% improvement in service levels. So both from all three areas, cash, cost, and customer, they've seen pretty dramatic impacts. As we come to the end, I just want to let you know that another one of the demos is going to be done on December 10th. But what we would love to do is get feedback. I'm going to turn this over to Sid now, and he's going to do the demo. And then we're going to have about 5 minutes for Q&A. But please do reach out to us. We'd love to meet with you, understand your needs, and give you something that really works for you. Let me turn it over to Sid.
So what I will walk through is our inventory solution. Before I go there, I just wanted to share, what we are hearing from our clients and the industry on what are the challenges everyone is facing, right? So the number one challenge currently in the industry is there is a lot of unfinished inventory, which is stuck in the network, and that is leading to poor customer satisfaction or delivery because the inventory is not there to complete an order. Second is because of a lot of the supply chain constraints, it's actually leading to a lot of over ordering in all the different businesses. And the third one I would say is supply chains are inherently complex, and they are becoming more complex of how things are sourced, how things are stored, and how they move through the network. So all this is leading to high level of inventory, right? So as Harsh mentioned earlier, right, to solve this, we have a three-part solution where we look into how can you sense, how can you understand, and how can you respond to this, right? So to begin with, what we do is first we create a single point of truth of your network. And what you are seeing here on the screen is we connect your parts, your suppliers, your factories, your logistics centers, all the way through, so then you can see it all in one place. And as part of the solution, we have built-in connectors where you can upload your discrete Excel files to get started, or we have other connectors where you can pull your data from. So once you have pulled the data, what we do is, as you know, data is complex in your network. So we just want to make sure using the network that the data is all validated. So once you have connected or uploaded the data, you can actually run a validation as part of the solution. And what it does is it's using actually your entire network, which we have created as part of the solution, to look for any errors in the data. And then it will highlight things like, there is a part where, say, suppose cost is missing, or it does not have a particular supplier listed. So it actually helps the user to quickly see those issues and resolve it within the solution. And once we have done that, what you are able to actually see is your entire network, where your suppliers are, where your logistics centers are, and for each one of them, you are able to see all the KPIs by looking into all the details around that logistics centers and your factories, right? And as I mentioned it earlier, right? So the first thing is, how do you create that single point of truth? So let me go to the inventory analysis, where what you are seeing here is, first, we provide you this end-to-end visibility, where you are able to see all the inventory which you have in the network, from all the way from the suppliers in transit, in your logistics centers, in your factory. So this gives your team this ability to not just see inventories in different silos, but also see it collectively across your network. So, and then you can actually go into the details of all the stuff about lead times, and everything is available here. Once we have done that, what we have also found is a lot of the how do you segment your inventory is also something which is of challenge to a lot of organization because of the shifting workforce. So what we have done is we have simplified where you can see where your opportunity areas here. What you are seeing here on the left is where we have mapped out all the high value inventory along with the turns. So anything on the right side are these components which are actually driving your inventory and impacting your turns. So it lets you quickly see what are your problem components. Similarly, on the right side, we have mapped it with lead time. So then you can identify what are your heavy impact areas for this inventory. Okay. And then the third piece, what we also do, we look into this inventory. Now we are looking for the third piece, which is your recommend of where your opportunities are. So we look into what is excess inventory you have in the network, how much is obsolete, stock out, and these are pre-configured, but based on your business, we can actually adjust it so that you can tweak it on how your company works. So what you are seeing here, all the way to a part level, we give recommendation of where it is excess, how much you can reduce it. And also we have added an AI assistant. And what it does is it takes this information and makes it easier for your team to understand with specific recommended actions. For example, as you can see here, it's actually saying is you can do 70% reduction in this particular part to free up so much in working capital. So going through this much data is always difficult. So that's why we have simplified with very specific actions which you can take. Right? So that is part of our response. And then finally, we also have added, as you know, all supply chain is constantly shifting. So if you want to know what is the impact because of some of the variables are changing. So you can do some level of what if analysis within the solution. I will pick one about lead time, where, for example, if I select one particular component and say, suppose the lead time is actually deteriorating, meaning increasing, and you want to see how much impact it is. So you can easily see how much more inventory you need to carry, how much it will cost your business. So this will help your team to quickly do some of this analysis on the lead time. You can also look into service level, where if you want to improve your service level, say from 95 to 97, we can show you how much more inventory do you need to carry. Also, the third one is around demand volatility. Like if your volatility is increasing by 20%, what does it mean of how much inventory you need to carry? We look into your lead time, your stocking policy, and come up with a recommendation. So I will stop here. This is a kind of a brief tour of how the solution works. And as Harsh mentioned earlier, right? So the benefits, what we are seeing with a lot of our clients is significant in reduction in average inventory, also improvement in turns, and then improvement in service levels.
Terrific.
Over to you, Harsh.
Thank you so much, Sid. That was terrific. I think people can see that this solution is going to be able to unleash a lot of capability within their organizations. But what I'd like to suggest is two things. One, in case you or colleagues of yours have missed this, you're going to be able to join a session on December 10th. So please do spread the word. The second is that we're happy to take questions at this point. Please go into the chat and type in a question, and we're happy to answer that. But more importantly, based on seeing this, if you'd like to have a discussion with us, please do reach out. We will provide the information if you need it. Just connect back with us, and I'm happy to get back to you and set up a discussion with a member of our team, and they'll help you go to the next steps so that you can actually adopt and use this or try it at your convenience. Thank you very much for joining and watching this demonstration and the explanation of what and why TADA has come in. So everybody at TADA, we are supply chain people who have built capabilities that works for supply chain people. Many of the people in the organization have run major supply chains. These things simply work, and our customers are saying, this is pretty cool. This is very effective, gets the job done, and we'd love to be able to do the same thing for you.